All right, I need to talk about this game because every time I watch the trailer for Ferocious, I get the exact same feeling. This mix of adrenaline, curiosity, and that holy damn, I need to play this reaction that not many games give me anymore. And I swear, Ferocious might end up being one of those rare indie shooters that hits way harder than anyone expects. So, let me break down why this game feels different, why it stands out, and why I think it has the potential to become a real hit when it launches. First, let's talk about the hook, because Ferocious doesn't ease you into anything. The moment you see that island, the dense jungle, the fog rolling through the cliffs, the rain hitting the trees, it just hits you with atmosphere. There's something primal about it, something dangerous. You don't even need context, you just know this place wants to kill you. And that's the perfect setup for a shooter built around survival, tension, and unpredictable encounters. Ferocious is basically a survival FPS set on an island completely untouched by civilization, filled with prehistoric creatures and hostile wildlife. But it's not doing that typical tropical paradise vibe. This game feels harsh. The lighting, the fog, the sound of insects, the water crashing into rocks, everything feels alive and aggressive. The world itself feels like a predator. And that's honestly one of the things that grabbed me right away. It's not just a backdrop, it's a threat. When it comes to gameplay, Ferocious looks incredibly grounded. The gunplay is heavy, you can tell from the animations. There's weight behind every shot, every reload, every movement. This isn't a fast arcade shooter where you sprint at 200 kilometers per hour. This is a game where you move cautiously, check corners, listen for footsteps or roars in the distance, and choose when to engage. The weapons don't just sound good, they sound dangerous. Loud, deep, punchy shots that echo through the forest. It's the kind of sound design that makes you flinch a little. And the creatures? Wow. They're not just passive background animals. They're fast, unpredictable, and they feel incredibly threatening. Dinosaurs, massive reptiles, strange mutated beasts, all of them move with this natural, wild weight. They aren't scripted enemies that just run straight at you. They react, they dodge, they roar, they chase. And because the island is so dense, you barely see them until they're already close, which creates some of the most intense FPS moments I've seen in a long time. The game is single player, and honestly, I think that's the right decision. The pacing, the atmosphere, the tension, it all feels like something designed to be experienced alone. Just you, your weapons, and a hostile island that doesn't care whether you live or die. It has that immersive quality where being alone actually makes the world feel bigger, scarier, and more believable. Co-op could be fun, but it would kill the tone. This game is supposed to feel isolating. One thing I really appreciate is how dynamic the environment is. The weather changes, the wind pushes leaves around, the waves crash against the coastline, fog rolls in out of nowhere, and everything reacts to the player's movement. Grass bends, water splashes, debris moves. And it's not just for show. Sometimes the environment helps you, and sometimes it betrays you. Tall grass can hide you, but it can also hide what's hunting you. Rain might drown out your noise, but it also lowers visibility. Every choice feels like it matters. Exploration is a massive part of the game. You're not running down linear corridors, you're navigating cliffs, caves, ruined structures, old shipwrecks, and deep forests. And because the world is so detailed, you never feel like you're just moving from one combat area to the next. Every part of the island feels handcrafted and dangerous. Sometimes you'll stumble onto something beautiful, like a waterfall or a glowing cavern, and sometimes you'll find something horrifying, like a nest of creatures waiting in the dark. The story seems to be grounded in mystery. You're not a soldier, you're not a superhero, you're just a survivor stranded somewhere you were never supposed to be. And the island definitely has secrets. Old military equipment, abandoned camps, strange labs and structures that don't belong in a place like this. That mix of natural danger and human corruption gives the game a deeper tone. It feels like there's something big going on beneath the surface, and the trailers hint at things far more dangerous than just dinosaurs. Graphically, Ferocious is stunning. The lighting alone makes this game look like a high-budget AAA shooter. Sun rays cutting through fog, reflections on wet rocks, rain hitting leaves. shadows dancing during storms. The game looks like a technical showcase. And what impresses me even more is that it's being developed by an extremely small team. The level of detail in the foliage, the animations, the particle effects, it's honestly unbelievable. The color palette also stands out. It's not just greens and browns. You get neon-lit underwater caves, bioluminescent plants, deep red sunsets, dark blue storms, and rugged cliffs painted in orange light. It gives the world personality. It makes the island feel ancient, but somehow alien at the same time. The pacing of the gameplay seems perfect for a survival shooter. Aggressive moments, moments where you're hunted, moments where you're exploring, and moments where the game lets you breathe just long enough to get comfortable, right before it throws something at you. That's good pacing. That's how you create tension without exhausting the player. Something I love is how the game uses sound. The distant growls, rustling bushes, footsteps in mud, birds scattering, insects buzzing, water dripping. It creates this fully immersive soundscape that constantly reminds you you're not alone. In some scenes, the silence is the scariest part. When the environment goes quiet, you know something is coming. Combat looks intense. You shoot because you have to, not because you want to. Ammo seems limited, enemies are deadly, and every encounter feels like a risk. You're not blowing up hordes of enemies. You're desperately trying to survive against creatures that are stronger, faster, and more adapted to this island than you are. That sense of vulnerability is what makes the game so appealing. You're not the apex predator. You're the outsider. And the verticality looks great too. Climbing cliffs, sliding down slopes, jumping across gaps, exploring underwater sections. The island isn't flat, it's layered, complex, almost like a living obstacle course designed to test your instincts. The more you look at Ferocious, the more you realize it's not trying to be generic. It's not trying to be a Jurassic Park clone. It's not trying to be a Far Cry reskin. It's trying to be its own thing, an intense, atmospheric survival shooter that pulls you into a world that feels both beautiful and dangerous every single second. Honestly, Ferocious might end up being one of the standout indie titles of the decade if it delivers on its promise. It looks cinematic. It looks immersive. It looks raw, intense, and full of personality. And most importantly, it looks fun. The kind of fun that gets your heart racing and your palms sweaty. So yeah, this is one of those rare games I'm genuinely excited for. The world, the presentation, the creatures, the tension, the graphics. Everything about Ferocious just feels like it's building towards something special. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.